Welcome to Cornhole Champions, a weekly podcast powered by Iowa Starting Line, where we throw bags at the state's biggest stories. I'm Zachary Oren Smith. It's Wednesday, and on this fine spring morning, I'm flying solo as I try to recover from an all-too-social Memorial Day. So happy Wednesday. Over the weekend, I was sitting in the background of one friend, celebrating the birthday of another. I was in this beautiful crowd of folks, many of whom I had never met in my life. The sun was out in Iowa City. There were hot dogs roasting on the grill. And I was thinking, we spend a ton of time speaking truth to power on this show, naming names, being clear about heroes and villains. And at the heart of that is the sense that we deserve better. Media might make it seem that people living in places like Iowa aren't deserving of a beautiful day in a backyard. Since I was born, I'd been aware of the sucking sound leading people out of places like this. Many of the reasons are good, and they're always right for the person who decides to leave. But for those of us who decide to remain here, for the people that want to live their lives in this place, to do big stuff here, I think it's got to begin from a place of love, of excitement for the promise of friends, new and old, of good food and great beer. Because we want good things for our families, for our neighborhoods, for our state. We want to be part of putting our shoulder to the wheel of making this place better. When I talk about the joy of doing this work in this place, that's what it's all about. If you're listening to this and that's striking true to you, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we are working together on this. Coming up, I've got a conversation that was recorded with the boys over at the Pints Diplomacy podcast. They are Tyler Stewart and Ryan Comer, and they talk politics with me, local politics. And if you like this work, you're certainly gonna like theirs. This week I'm featuring a conversation I had over there, partly because it's a short week and I wanted to do a little bit less work as I ease into the work week, but I've also been thinking a lot about the mission of Cornhole Champions, what I want to do with this show, and I like that we got to talk a little bit about kind of like why it is that I'm here and why it is I think that this work's important. Before we get to it, the best way to tune in to Cornhole Champions is our YouTube. Help us break through the noise, subscribe and like this video. Let me know in the comments what you want us to cover next. And then check out my newsletter and get these episodes straight to your email box Wednesday mornings. Go to cornholechampions.substack.com, but enough of that. My conversation with the Pints and Diplomacy boys, that's coming up here on Cornhole Champions.
So we'd like to welcome your friendly neighborhood reporter, journalist for Iowa Starting Line, and host of the podcast Cornhole Champions, Zachary Oren Smith. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, Tyler, Ryan, it's good to see y'all.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions lined up, but I want to start. I made a note here so I don't get off track. You're a Mississippi transplant.
I sure am.
So
this is like the first thing you learn about me is when I was worked at the Iowa City Press Citizen, our photographer Joe Kress always used to joke that like I'd be on the phone and like it was my way of like trying to convince like sheriff's deputies to talk to me. It was like, well, I'm from Mississippi, right? Or, don't get me, I'm not like these other liberals in Iowa City. I'm from Newton County, Mississippi here. It's a different flavor altogether. But yeah, I came here in 2017.
Okay.
I was followed a girl. It worked out.
There you go. Congratulations.
Yeah, we've been happily living in Iowa City ever since, and I've been covering news in Eastern Iowa ever since then too.
So you live in Iowa City right now?
Live in Iowa City right now, kind of splitting the time.
Okay.
My employer has been kind enough to let me rent an apartment here in Des Moines, so that while I'm covering the session, I'm able to like kind of keep abreast of it.
Wow, I didn't know that. You didn't just drive here for us today, did you?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but the session's
right. It's still going.
Sessioning.
Right. Yeah.
Still sessioning. Unfortunately, those guys, they can't agree to a budget, and it seems like they're going to go past their deadline.
That's what I was going to ask. When is their deadline? Is it this week?
So it's the way the session is set up. We have a part-time legislature, right? And the goal here, right, ought to be that get in, get out, right? If you as you cook up your policies when you're not in Des Moines, and then when you get to Des Moines, you fight it out and you see what comes out on top. But there are all these ways that you can extend it out. And one of the things that they have to do before they can leave Des Moines is to agree to a budget, right? So this, you'll notice there's not been a ton of coverage of kind of what that budget's going to look like, and that's because we haven't even had budget targets for what Iowa leaders want to see in play. So early this week, you had a joint presser come out where the Governor Kim Reynolds and the Iowa Senate leaders they said that we're on board. We kind of know what we want. These are our targets. Now they just kind of got to wrangle the House, which this year has been very busy with a lot of bills, very raucous time over there. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe between now and Friday and Thursday afternoon, when they all try to get out of Des Moines, maybe they'll come to some kind of compromise. But it's very doubtful that it'll end Friday.
That doesn't make sense to me just because they have a supermajority. Republicans.
Well, it's the legislature. It shouldn't make sense.
Well, yeah, and I know. It feels like whatever they want to do, they should be able to do. But because Republicans control both chambers pretty in the large margin.
Well, you say Republican. Which kind of Republican do you mean?
There you go.
And there's, because they only let the press on the floor of the House, maybe I see more of the diversity, kind of what a Republican look like there than I do the Senate. But the reality is that while it is by virtue of being the party in power, you're actually, and having such a large supermajority, you actually have way more gradation. They have to spend a lot more time appeasing kind of farther reaches of the party, right? So why did that geoengineering bill get a subcommittee? Why did the bill to criminalize the administration of mRNA vaccines? I don't know if y'all remember that one.
I remember that one. Yep.
It was a buck wild bill.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe this was what they were cooking up. But that's kind of what you get.
There's this. I know they've passed like a cell phone bill this year.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the other things that they've done. I mean, mostly like we're both educators, we kind of just see the side of, oh well, we're just going to get underfunded again another year. That's typically what you see.
That was if you get your SSA percentages at all.
Right.
It didn't seem it. Well, they passed that deadline pretty quick.
And it throws our whole all the districts off. So they're trying to plan for the next year, and it's a nightmare. Right. They don't really seem to. They're not in the interest or thinking of the interest of education at all. Ever. Some people are.
Okay.
Some people are. Some.
A handful.
Yeah. Literally, probably a handful of people.
That's not like we make plans or anything. Like won our contracts.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got my contract. Have you got your contract?
No.
We got our contract.
Are you on the ISEA or?
I'm not. I'm with the union. Yeah, we're with the union.
Okay. When do y'all? How often do y'all? When's the next contract negotiation for y'all?
We just Des Moines. I'm with Des Moines Public now.
Gotcha.
First year, they've already gotten through. We've got our contracts sent out. I still got to sign it though.
I think
it's a friendly reminder. I got to sign
it. Well, I think our school board has now has signed off on it, so it's going to get pumped out. But it's usually I feel like it's already in our hands, and we already know what we're going to do. You have to. I feel like we've already hit that that deadline where normally they'd be returned already. I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to get a contract, but it's you kind of sweat it just a little bit because you just. I don't know until you actually have or I guess it's not a piece of paper anymore, but
email,
attachment, DocuSign.
All the things that we do are downriver from what funds them, right? And until it usually feels like such a dereliction of duty not to get school districts, right? If there's anything we can agree on, right, it should be that the folks educating our kids are our top priority, right? I got my first kid come in September. I'm very excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if I knew that my I had more lead time with that birth than the legislature for some of the school districts,
right?
And I just it's amazing to me that they waited to past that deadline so deep into this year. It's insane.
I feel like it's getting to the point where that's getting to be common anymore.
Yeah.
Comer, tee off.
Oh,
tee off.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
Apparently, I throw around random music.
Yeah, he picks a theme. Today's been rock and roll.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
It's all morning long. You ready to rock and roll?
Gripping and ripping.
Yeah, one night it was tee off. Let's tee off.
Yeah, let's do it.
Everything was tee off.
I probably golfed that day.
Yeah. He gets in these zones.
Do you golf?
Oh yeah, I love golf.
God. I can't stand golf.
Oh God, I love it.
It's fun. It's so funny to me that golf exists as a sport, given that there's it's already been perfected in mini golf.
Right.
Mini golf is a conceptually perfect.
It exists.
It is a perfect sport, right? Mini golf is all the fun of golf, but not annoying.
Right.
You don't want to toss your
Yeah, I don't.
club,
I've never been furious. I've been furious at playing golf. I mini golf. If you're furious at the putt course, like you're the problem,
Right.
You,
Yeah.
go ahead and head to anger management immediately.
Yeah, exactly. I think you have to go to jail. I think it's actually like it's
Happy Gilmore.
Let's go.
That's right.
Fight the clown.
That's right.
No, and it's environmentally probably not great.
Yeah. And I'm a SEC football fan, and
Okay.
I mean the same's true about
Must be nice.
concussions. But, it's great. It's great.
We could turn away. Look there.
Toddy.
Turn the other cheek. Yeah, I love golf. I think it's the camaraderie with friends going out there, and the way we play is, I don't like go out there and keep my own score. We're playing best ball. We're just taking fun shots.
You're not bad.
I'm good enough to where I'm gonna have a couple shots that are gonna want me to come back.
Right.
Yeah. So and we're drinking beers,
All it
having a
takes
good
is one-
time,
all it
listening to
takes is one
music.
good shot though in a round. And
Right.
be like, ooh, maybe I could do that every single time if I keep working.
You could also go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's I'm a big fan. It's called hiking.
But I
It's a
can't-
new concept I've been working on.
I guess I could
You
drink
grab
a
a
beer.
beer with a friend.
Right.
That's
Jogging, or maybe it's a soft. Is it jogging? Soft jog.
Oh, I can't jog.
Anchorman.
I-
Anybody?
No.
sorry.
Oh
Missed
my
it.
God!
Missed it. Sorry.
Grow up, the both of you.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Well,
jeez.
because you're the oldest one here, you can say that.
Well, yeah.
How old?
That's actually a question I had in here. I was going to say, how old are you? And then how old do you think we are? So how old do you think we are?
You guys got to be ancient. What are we talking? Like 60, mid 60s? 60s?
That's what my students like to say when I ask them that question. They give me an old age.
I'm 30. I turned 31 in March.
Okay.
I've been 31 in March. I'm trying to think of the last time I got Big Brothers Big Sisters is a great organization, and if you are looking to volunteer, you should absolutely contact the local Big Brothers Big Sisters chapter. The kid I work with was convinced I was in my 50s.
Yeah.
I met him at 28. He was convinced. He was so Zach, when is it really tough getting older? I was like, how old do you think I am? He's like, what, 58?
Oh man, kids have no concept of time or age.
I want a new kid. I want a new Emmanuel kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, trade this one out. Trade this one out for sure.
Well, he's probably thinking, I'm gonna swap this old man out. Somebody else too. So.
Yeah. Mine's broken. He's too old. You see him walk. He walks a little Kimba.
Get a hitch. Hitch his giddy up. 31.
31. You want to share your age?
What do you got?
I'm 33.
33.
I turned 34 in December.
Okay. What do you got? Come on.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, what do you got?
46.
46. Oh, ancient.
46 years young.
One foot in the grave. One foot in the grave.
It isn't. It sucks. It's not. My body's starting to hurt a little bit here and there.
We didn't have a podcast at 36, I imagine.
No.
What?
So
that's
I'm getting.
that's
I'm getting better.
I don't know if that's better or
I don't know.
not.
Yeah.
Now that I have one, it's that hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
It's been well for us. This has been a lot of fun doing these. It's educational. It's been fun.
Therapeutic for us because we get to talk politics and drink beer. And
I love that.
It started what year?
2020.
Yeah.
Oh damn, y'all been at this a long time.
Yeah, we took a break at one point.
Failed state senate.
I ran for a state senate, and
I didn't. Bad reporter who doesn't know what
if you
on the wall.
Let's get two of them so you can take. He can sign one.
Yeah.
I was hoping you were the Andrew Yang. You were an organizer for the Andrew Yang campaign.
If you see Ken Rosenboom in the Senate doing one of these, maybe
yeah,
don't
no
actually,
problem.
but
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Dealer's choice on that one.
Another huge fan of mine.
Yeah. Do you know Bob Leonard?
To the old man.
Of course you do.
Granddad.
Right. Yeah.
My granddad.
Nicest guy ever. He
nicest guy. I don't know. He's a little crotchety.
Well, he was nice to me, I guess, because he was. I won't not gonna say he's a journalist. He wasn't supporting me, but he'd reach out to me a lot because Pella was in my district, so I'd go there and do interviews with him. And we one time did an interview with both of us, Ken and myself, and Ken got livid at the end of it.
Was that the radio one?
Yeah, the radio one. I mean, we were done recording, and he was yelling at me. And at one point, he said something to the effect of years down the road, they're gonna find out that the reason transgender suicide rates are so high are because of Democrats like me. That was
you never capital I impact, I guess.
well, I don't know what I mean. He was livid, and he's like, I've won this award, and I'm a community leader, and he just stormed out of the building.
I think when you were the party in power, the offense that folks take to not being beloved, right? These folks do not actually have to play ball, right? Like they have such uniform control over our government. And it just drives them insane that they are not like just had it on the head for every damn thing they do. It really is remarkable.
We got invited.
Huge egos, very like fragile.
And he got
frames.
Well, there was another one though where he, like, you are an educator and you've gone to school for it. And do you have your master's?
No, I don't.
Oh, I do. So, but he was like, he basically was like, you think you know what's best for our kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some long.
What I've been trained.
Right.
I work in a classroom.
It's my job. It's my chosen profession.
Right.
Like, but like that was his argument against one of his arguments against you in general.
He didn't really have to make an argument against me because we were Pellows in the district, so it didn't really matter. But no,
there's another story in that.
Right. We got invited to by the Pella School Board, and I had met with the superintendent. I think once we had coffee somewhere, but we got there and there's all these board members, and I'm just Pella's pretty conservative district.
Sure.
They really only had like one question for me. They drilled him with questions about the school choice, and they were not in favor of it, and he was not happy that they were kind of hammering him with it. I remember those are just some of the fond memories of that state senate campaign.
Yeah.
I
was his treasurer. I'm kind of a numbers guy. That's my first social studies.
That explains the face.
Were you gonna ask a question, or did you? I got sidetracked.
There's been a million things that have popped up as we've been going along. Kim Reynolds not running because that we talked about Kim Reynolds not running. Is she not running because she doesn't think she could win? Is she moving on to something bigger and better?
If Kim Reynolds was in that race, she could have won that race. Kim Reynolds is Democrat. This has been my issue, particularly in Johnson County. Like I think folks over there think that Kim Reynolds is that she doesn't know what she's doing, that she's not beloved, that she's got like a bunch of skeletons in the closet. They always want to talk about the drunk driving incident. Right. They always want to bring up this shit. But like the reality is like she's a preternaturally really smart politician, right? And like folks that underestimate her like do so at their detriment. You look at you brought up the Voucher bill. You look at the way she laid down the law for folks in her own party that voted against that. Yep. That's not a weak-willed strategy, right? That's not even if it was a staffer's idea, right? To be the person administering to that primary, that is a brutal operation. Right?
John Thorup, she got primaried and brought in. So I can't remember her name now, but yeah, that was all like there were some people getting primaried in the district that I was kind of in. Yeah. And it was a nightmare.
It was a bloodbath. And folks that survived the primary learned a lesson, right? And I mean, I think if you want to talk about like the top-down control that we're experiencing right now, right? Like why you don't have drag-out fights that are really they're in the media between the governor and the two chambers, right? It's because they've seen what happens. When there's disagreement. I mean, why would Kim Reynolds not? It's not because she couldn't win that race. Honestly, right. Like if Rob Sand ends up being the Democratic nominee, just incumbency alone makes her a super strong candidate, right? And like, one of my favorite poli-sci professors, Megan Goldberg over at Cornell, is always saying this when I talk to her. She says, incumbency is why incumbency is so important is hard to say, right? But in election after election, by virtue of the person just deciding to stick around, that has such a big impact on the race. So could she win it? Yes. Why would she not do it? I mean, I take in good faith, right? That like, given her husband's diagnosis that she's been pretty public with, and she's got grandkids, right? And like it's doing these jobs is really tough, right? And like I this is not a poor Kim Reynolds. I mean, it is an honor to get to serve this state. It's an honor to get to do this work. And I include people that get to talk about politics in public, right? I consider that a huge honor and responsibility. It's hard to do that work, and I understand wanting to hang it up after a long career where you've done a lot. How much more does she have to do, right? Pick another star to jump at, right? I mean, she's done so much in this state for good and work,
right?
For better and for worse. Yeah. Oh, I'm good right now.
For everyone.
Y'all, it's 11 a.m. Like I'll crack a beer at 11.
I'm from Northern Iowa. It's all we drink, really. It's
That's
just
right,
all
the
day.
Midwestern
Yeah.
boys.
I came home to my dad being like 7 old Milwaukee's in or deep.
I did my best work over in Eastern Iowa, like Iowa City, tailgating for football games.
I do. I'll tell you.
Thumbs up.
Coming from a fan. I grew up in the Grove at Ole Miss.
Okay.
Tailgating, and if there's one thing that I can actually get behind with the Midwest, and there's some camaraderie that some kinship that I feel between our clans. My God, y'all tailgate well.
Yeah.
Y'all are good. Y'all tailgate.
Who do you think has the better tailgating setup?
Oh, the South.
No, sorry. That's a bad question.
He might not.
That's
feel like I know
lowercase
where
J
you're going.
journalism.
The info.
Look at Iowa State, Iowa. Who has the best tailgating setup?
Okay.
Vibe.
Can I let you in on? Since it's just the three of us
Right.
talking,
Trust tree.
It's cone of silence.
Yeah.
So a project that I've been trying to get off the ground at starting line. I've been pitching. It would be called "We Won the Party."
Mm-hmm.
It's a vertical that we just talk about the great tradition of the American tailgate,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And so here's the deal: is it maybe the University of Northern Iowa's like tailgates at the women's riflery competition are better than the Iowa hockey? I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's what good journalism's about. Let's go find out. Let's learn something new.
Let's go to these tailgates.
That's exactly right.
Investigative journalism.
Let's go investigate.
You're willing to
I'll be the guy.
Yeah.
Someone's got to. Somebody has to. I'm happy to be that man.
you'll volunteer as tribute.
That's right.
Maybe you can part of that is going outside of Iowa and just learning about other cultures of tailgating.
So
Buffalo Bills.
hear me out, Shark. So all I need is a travel budget.
Private jet, preferably.
Private jet if you got one. If
Nice.
there's one laying around.
Audio camera setup, everything. I'll need a couple of interns. We're right here.
I'll need producers. That's for sure.
Right.
I can't be expected to hold my own microphone.
Right. Yeah. Jordan Klepper has a team. He's got security detail. So why don't you get one? We actually ran into him once at a Trump rally. If you get on our TikTok page, and you can see some of those videos.
That's
but
sick.
it was a wild event. But yeah, we ran into Jordan Klepper. He has it's almost like a security team had circles of security around him to make sure that the only people that got in are the people that Jordan Klepper wanted to talk to, which is probably smart because where he's at, he's in enemy territory, I guess.
We didn't have any protection.
We did not.
That day.
We
I
were
really was convinced that something bad was
Is that the shirt you were wearing?
Yeah, so I bought this.
Let me Top Gun Trump. That's not bad.
He wore that,
Pretty funny.
and he got talked into.
Is that serious or is that making fun? Oh no, it's definitely making fun. But it's still pretty cool. I bought that and I got a discount. The guy said, "Oh, you're working," because we were carrying camera. He's like, "You're working. I'll give you the working man discount." And I was like, sweet.
Which is probably the same
But I
for
bought
us.
this and a Trump hat from he said he was a vet.
Before we even parked, it felt like.
Yeah, he
And you're buying merch. Yes, and your way. I mean, that's how it starts.
Right, yeah.
For the merch.
No, I was trying to not get my ass kicked.
Suddenly he's got some weird opinions about the youth.
I was like, dude, we're gonna get killed.
And I was the one doing all the talking to people.
Yeah.
it was a good time.
That was
Trump
scary.
rallies are fun. They're not fun for everybody, and I get that. I think in general, political rallies are they're big spectacle, right? And we don't get a chance, I think, to interact with political spectacle in this country very often. There aren't military parades in the United States yet. Give it. Let the man cook.
Right.
We'll see. But there aren't military parades. There aren't. But I think when you get civic spectacle, I think is an underrated American experience, right? And I think I remember I went to in 2015. I went to. My first Trump rally was in Madison, Mississippi, at a school football stadium, and I remember going up. So Trump was brand new at the time, right? This was he was still being covered in the entertainment section of the New York Times, right? This was that era of Trump.
Good old days.
The good old days. And I remember going up there. He had this horde of hucksters that followed him around selling merch. And I remember talking to my wife, my then girlfriend, but we were. She was taking photos just to do it. I was working for Mississippi Today covering I think infrastructure, and I'm at this thing talking to these like they walk into this line of guys hawking like Trump memorabilia. There's like the of course the Making America Great Again hats are flying, but it was cool was the ball and chains, the Trump branded balls and chains, which in retrospect like would have been a great pickup.
Right, yeah, buy those.
Like
It's got to be worth more today than it was.
totally.
We interviewed one lady that there was two ladies that we were interviewing at the same time, and they were hammered. They were drunk. And it made me think of, I don't know if you guys watched.
They talk about tailgate.
Right, yeah.
It was before the event even started.
It reminded me, I don't know if you guys watch South Park. There's an episode of South Park where they reenact the Civil War and they all get drunk. And like the South like they're like, we're going to actually win this thing. Like the Civil War is
They're
happening.
tired of losing. So this year, just one time.
There's one. Yeah. And they keep going to like different towns, just hammered on. It's like the rum shot equivalent of like rum shot or something like that.
Incredible.
And it just reminded me of that. Like they're just going and getting hammered and partying and not really caring about anything else. And that's that interview there, or talking to those people for the 5 minutes we did. It reminded me of that.
Just taking the country back.
Yeah, it's literally what it felt like. And I think I just asked her about Trump's policies that she likes, and she literally could not name one. So I was like peppering her with like, oh, what about this and what about that? And eventually she was just like, yeah, I just like the way he says things. That's what it came down to.
Like it
So
is.
I think there's like a self-important liberal response to that, where it's like that's not a sufficient way to engage
Mhm.
with Trump. But like playing devil's advocate here,
Right.
Playing devil's advocate here, it feels to me that that speaks to something intangible about Trump, about the Trump movement, the MAGA movement more broadly. That Democrats just don't have an answer to. Right. He is a once in a generation speaker, once in a generation talent. Right. And I mean that in like the most objective terms. Like there has been no other Republican that's been able to step to Trump and survive. Right. And there's something about him that like the vibe is just so that like he just captures folks. I think it's partly because he's funny. I think people think he's. Say what you will. I think he is very funny, and I think he has a humor to him, dark, a vindictive humor, maybe. But nonetheless, it's one that it's not. It doesn't have to be about policy. And actually, like most folks don't engage with policy, right? I think like if they did, the technocrats would win elections every time, but that's not where most of us are, right? Most of us do not follow politics. Most folks couldn't name if the person listening knew all of the folks that we just named in the gubernatorial race, they are in the smallest like percentage of the American electorate, right? Even smaller Iowa electorate, right? Because like folks don't have time for that, right? They got kids they got to get to. They got church obligations. They got
jobs.
They're busy doing like the important stuff of living a life, right? And like, why would they, unless it's a hobby, unless it's something that they just are, they're one of these freaks that are like us that are maybe just stuff, right? Why would they get involved? I think the case that you got to figure out, as like a listener, that the case that I'm trying to figure out, right, is like, how do I have a casual but deep relationship with my politics? Right? How do I not follow it as a Politico subscriber? How do I follow it as a like normal member of the democratic process? Right. I think like when we begin engaging with these things on that level, suddenly like the vibes begin to make sense about Trump a little bit more, right? And why is it that Rob Sand, as a Democratic example, why is he finding purchase in some of these redder, more conservative rooms, right? Like why is he, when he's in hyper rural Iowa, what is it that he's able to tap into when he's at some?
Yeah, he doesn't come across as an elitist, I think.
I think that helps.
Yeah,
I think that helps. People on Twitter make fun of the oh shucks of Rob Sand, right? Which is like fair. I watched the maybe the Casey's pizza thing is a little too much. I don't know.
Just he's relatable. He's an Iowa.
But I mean, like if you're a normal guy and like this is the one video that you're going to see of a politician in statewide office for that week. I mean, like maybe that hits right. Like maybe the Politico subscriber, maybe the folks that read The Hill are the problem. Not,
maybe the swamp.
Yeah, maybe the swamp is the problem.
I'll say I had an idea. Maybe I could say I'll pass off some ownership to it. I had the idea of going to like Carl's place, and
I live right down the street from
Sherman Hill. Go over there, get like that there's that little table, they have a table, circular table, I believe, on that ledge or whatever that's kind of by the door. And just
copyright this too.
right,
Yeah,
yes.
cone of silence. No,
Cone-
it's
just-
just three
yeah,
guys
right.
talking. No one's
You
listening.
I
That's right.
swear to God, it feels
And more of my best ideas are stolen from
Right.
friends, so
We just want to interview people at Carl's or like just a random dive bar, like do a dive bar tour across the state and go to there. And the goal being like just to have these kind of conversations, joke about things, talk about things that we have in common, like TV shows we watch, maybe music we listen to, because I feel like we have a lot in common. I mean, I'm from a small town in northern Iowa.
where are you from?
Hampton.
Hampton. Cool.
Yep. So
Great courthouse.
yeah, it's beautiful. But like we have a lot in common, and I think we should try to relate over those things more than how we identify politically. And that might make Democrats appear less threatening to conservatives in the state. But yeah, we just haven't taken that off the ground yet. We need to get this setup rolled into Carl's at some point.
started with wanting to go Alabama.
Yeah, I found the most, what I Googled, like the most racist county, and Google tell me, I don't know how they're measuring that. I don't know. But I wanted some guidance on where to look.
Out there.
And it was someplace in like,
football.
it was like Forsyth County in Georgia or something like that. And I found a bar in that county, a dive bar, and I called them, and they're like, "Yeah, as long as you're not like rude to people, feel free to come on in." And I was like,
"There's a fight last weekend."
"Yeah," I was like,
There was.
Yeah, they said there's like a fight last weekend over
Well,
politics.
that sounds like a great bar.
Right.
But he's like, "Hey, let's go down there. We'll interview people." I'm like, "Dude, we're gonna get we can cuss, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna get fucking killed." That's what
you guys, we can cuss.
I know, but like I would feel like I need permission.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was worried that we were gonna get our asses absolutely kicked.
I think like in general, I mean, so they're like certain. Maybe it's like maybe it's the where I come from. Maybe it's just the maybe it's what I bring to the table. But like the threat of violence is never actually the issue. You might be uncomfortable, right? You might be you might not have the best time. You might have people not want to talk to you. But three white dudes walking in there, I can't imagine you get your ass kicked. I mean, maybe if you put on the wrong if you put on the wrong song, maybe.
I feel like he's always trying to. I feel like he wants to make fun of him.
No.
He wants to go kind of Jordan Klepper, and I'm like, if they figure out
I'm not real close to the Alabama line. You must be careful.
I'm not. Jordan Klepper's very intelligent and witty. I don't have a part of me. I want to learn. I want to learn more about people that vote for Trump and like figure out what is his appeal to them and try to replicate that within the Democratic Party.
Sorry, you have come I feel like it's evolved. The idea has evolved, and I feel less like we're gonna get our asses kicked, and it might just not be a great time. But
I don't even think like that's the way. Like you go to Forsyth County, Alabama, and you're gonna learn what's happening in Forsyth County, Alabama.
Yeah.
You go to Hampton, Iowa, you'll learn what's going on in Hampton, Iowa. You go to Burlington, Iowa, you're gonna learn what's happening. There's like the specificity of place, right? I think is like an undervalued commodity, right? In terms of how it informs us, how it shapes us, how it makes us. And those places make cases for why people stay in them. Right. And I think like the more you understand, like I feel like I have a really at this point, 10 years into living in Iowa City, a little bit less than that. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of like why that town, the magnetism that town has. Like I feel pretty close to that. When I was living in Jackson, Mississippi, I felt very close to like understanding what it is that binds this place together. I think the more we can do as people that are interested in political projects, that want to see, good things for the students we teach, for the people we run into at the gas station, right? Like for those of us that are interested in that project, I think we owe it. It is incumbent on us to understand the magnetism of this place, so understand the texture of this place, understand what it is that brings and keeps people here, right? Because you've seen the countervailing force, the sucking sound that drags folks out of our towns, better jobs, education, significant other, etc. Right. But for those of us that are here, right, I think it is. I think something that I find a lot of meaning in, right, is that question of like, why am I here, right? Why are you here? What is it that keeps us in this place? Because I think there is like some magnetism there, right? And if you can, I feel like if you can understand what that is, Like that is the like persuasive future in Iowa, right? And right now I do think, I mean, it is clear from the outcomes of these elections that Republicans have just done a better job speaking to that countervailing force, right? Maybe I think fear is part of it, right? I think they speak, fear can be a really powerful motivator, but even more powerful is being able to like speak to that substance, that thing, right? That keeps us here.
You should work for the Iowa Democratic Party.
I would never. They could, hey, me, a high-paid journalist, he couldn't afford me, right?
Well, same fat cat.
Fat cat teacher,
Right.
yeah, teachers union boss.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about you.
Speaking of journalists, how do we become better journalists? Because we don't have any educational background in journalism.
Yeah, dude.
We're just
We're
out
trained
here.
in fake news.
Right. We're
Me
just
neither.
Oh.
I
We're
didn't.
new to the fake news game.
I didn't study journalism.
Okay.
I actually feel really strongly that it's actually bad to study journalism.
okay.
I'm a big believer that like journalism is an action, right? It's a verb.
Okay.
It's like journalism is go learn a thing and go tell someone about it.
Okay.
Right? And that's so there are like folks that I'm sure you've heard it called like the fourth estate, right?
Yes.
You've heard it called like it's a segment. It's something apart from from the people, that it's it's up in a tower, it's away from everything. But I don't think it is. Being a journalist, the press as enumerated, as named in the Constitution, is a extension of the public, right? It is a force in our communities that try to understand our communities, right? Try to capture its memory, try to capture the maybe that substance that I was talking about earlier, right? That texture of being from here, and I'm a fundamental believer that anyone can do that, right? I get paid to do it, and I love doing what I do, right? I love my career. I can't imagine doing anything else. But I don't think you got to be a paid journalist working for a newspaper, working for a website, working for public radio to do good journalism. I think at its like most basic level, it's trying to understand what's going on. Right, it's trying to understand like what is new, what is happening, what is it that people need to know, right? And so there's a lot of directions that you can go from there. But like, I mean, I think from like a most basic point, how do we become better journalists? We try to figure out we try to be honest with ourselves about what we don't know. Again, from a point of humility that. While I like to think I'm like a really like involved, active citizen as an active persona. What do I actually know about my city council election? Right? Like, who are the members of my school board? Who, what is the where? If I'm trying to spend $1 to help my community out, what actually is the best place to do that with? Right? Like, what are the organizations that need my labor, need my money, need my help? How can I put my shoulder to that wheel? Right? These are all questions that I think good journalism's interested in.
Right.
And kind of coupled with that, I think there's like a tradition of extractive journalism. I mean, you've seen reporters in a town for maybe 2-3 years and then is off somewhere else, right? I think there's an extractive relationship that comes from that, right? That we're in it to get the story, we write the mean thing about your mayor, and then we get out of town, right? But I think when done well, I'm really proud of my career in Iowa that I've gotten to know this place really well. I've gotten to sit with this place. I haven't been here 8 years covering stories. You quickly become one of the people that have been after 5. After 5, people had thought I'd been at the Press Citizen for like 10 years. It was crazy. It was crazy, right? Just because like the memory of these places, right, gets shipped out so frequently. So I think there's an additive, right? That if you want to do good journalism, it's adding to your community. It's creating space for it to live. It's creating space for it to talk to itself, to understand itself. So
that's like a very thorough and deep answer, which my follow-up.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's great. That's great.
I'm gonna wax poetic about the
No, it's
joy of
awesome.
Journalism. So.
It's just my follow-up question is going to sound really dumb, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Yeah.
A few months ago, listening to Caroline Levitt She mentioned, podcasters, anybody out there, fill out, this form for press credentials. I did.
Did you really?
Well, of course, yeah.
That's sick, right?
Yeah, I've not heard back. Yeah. But why, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask because it's a dumb question. Why is somebody like Tim Pool getting press credentials, but people like us are not? I mean, what is, and the honest side of that question is more like, it is a little infuriating that a man who I think they found was getting paid by the Russian government to repeat talking points is being allowed into the White House or the James Brady press room.
I mean, there's so much tangled up in that.
Right.
Yeah. Where to begin? So like, I'm not one of these folks that thinks that new media shouldn't be allowed in pressers, right? I think a elected official should, as a matter of hygiene, right, have a open press pool. Give again, press is an extension of the public, right? No, if a member of the public wants to be in that room, at least like hypothetically, like I think they should be allowed to do so. I do understand that there's space limitations, right? And so there's like certain pragmatic, you can only check so many people through White House security in order to get them to the room. So I understand there's like some realities that you have to figure out. And then it becomes about like, how do I get the maximal amount of transparency to this thing? And do I think that Caroline Leavitt's administering to the most transparent White House? No, I do not. But I do think that it is good that we are thinking about like, what are people tuning into, right? The reality is New York Times subscribers, while numerous, are not, this is a very small amount of the public, right? We got a real challenge in the United States, and I'll just speak to Iowa. We have a real challenge in Iowa that the Des Moines Register is not a widely read paper. All of your elected officials read it. All of your like party staffers read it. All of your kind of local school board people might read it. But like does the average person get the politics newsletter in the morning? Probably not. I mean, I don't even read it every morning, right? And so new media, particularly like popular new media, offers itself up as like, well, we may have a bigger audience. We may have people that are more voracious to read our content. Does that make them a net good for the democracy? I don't know, right? But I do think it's good to engage with like kind of what media can look like, and not. I think we gotta just not. I don't know, like the objective Hirschtian, William Hearst press, right? That's a 20th century invention. We act like it's been around since cave times, right? But that is a invention. That is an approach. Party publications, party rags predate the Hearstian press in a big way, right? I think what needs to be emphasized when we're talking about this like question of access, who gets access to that room. We have to. There are two values I would put in there. One is like how many kinds of people can we add in there? Like kind of think about it like an ecosystem, right? And what kinds of media can we get in there? Because like obviously the AP needs to be there, right?
For sure. And well, if they can figure out that it's the Gulf of America,
right? Yeah. Once they get their liberal bias out of the map, I mean, like there's like some actors that I obviously want in that room, but like does it make sense to have the Washington Post and what's like the same? What's another like the Washington Post and USA Today? Like, are they really divergent? Are they really divergent audiences, or are they more or less this? I don't know. I don't answer that.
It feels like there's this new wave, like podcasts and stuff. I thought, years like 20 when we first started doing this, I thought we were late to the game of podcasts, and here we are. No, here we are. I still feel like we're late to the game, but probably not. I don't know.
Late twice.
Right. It just feels like there's this new wave of like I don't know if you call it journalism. I don't want to label everything, but it just feels like there's this new wave of kind of move going through the news right now where where the hell did Newsmax come from?
Newsmax is have you been following its IPO? There's a new media publication that I love, Puck, had some really has an excellent newsletter on mergers and acquisitions. It's nerd shit, right? It's called Dry Powder. I read it every week. It's like one of my guaranteed reads. And they've been talking about, so Newsmax has like a huge valuation. During its IPO, it shot up in this incredible way. Newsmax is a big company. Folks, it feels like it's novel. It feels like it came out of nowhere, but it's like it's just been kind of steadily growing since I think the 90s. I mean,
Really?
it has a longer tail than folks realize. It's just not been in the like zeitgeist
Right.
now it's like you're trying to take over. And Fox is by way larger and is way,
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but like there's a cultural sense that Newsmax might like kind of take away some of that audience that Fox is kind of an iron fist around.
One America, is that another one?
One America's a big one.
Yeah.
One America's a big one.
But like it feels
Nation.
it feels like when it comes to like journalistic standards of fact checking and doing all these things, I've heard the idea floated of what do we call actual news? Should there be like a government label on that, or at what point is it news and at what point is it entertainment?
Totally.
And should there be a distinction between the two? Because it feels like that having somebody out there like a Fox News, maybe even more radical, not in terms of politics, but in terms of how they like just pump out news without fact checking or with the goal of helping a political party. At what point is that a problem?
Yeah. So, and I come at this. I come from a pretty traditional news background, right? Very like the greatest virtue that I would have like leaned on for my coverage prior to this gig right here would have been fairness, right? That like the thing that we must do is make sure that people feel like we are being fair, right? And I think that is a virtue that guides a lot of the coverage that I read every day. And I think it is a good one. I don't think it's a bad one. I have come to have an issue with it over time, right? Iowa Starting Line is a progressive news website. We have values, right? We are people first and foremost living here that want better things for Iowa, right? Now, those don't always align with the Democratic Party. Those don't always align with progressive or left-wing ideas. But like, we're not afraid to like think about like what is and is not working for this state, right? For example, I don't feel prior jobs I would have felt I wouldn't be able to say this, but like at this job, I'm happy to say that I think if a kid goes to a public school, that kid should be fed a meal.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I think it's remarkable. I don't mean to scream, but it makes me feel like kind of insane that we live in a country where there are kids that go to school and are hungry and do not get fed a meal. Like, that's remarkable. And I think that there's a place, right, for someone to try to understand how expensive a school lunch program might be for the state. Are there other actors other than the government that could be provided? I think there's like a fairness argument that could be made. But I start with this job at Iowa Starting Line. I start from the outcome that like it's insane. You should feel like it. It should. You should. It should cloud every action of our day. That like there are kids go to school in the district that I sometimes help out in. That are hungry. Like that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart, breaks my brain. It makes me feel like an insane person that like we go about our days
and people
hunger.
don't care. Some people don't care.
Well, it's not even just like hunger. It's like, it's not even like people just ignoring it. It's like people actively like deciding that they don't want to do anything.
They're choosing to not.
We're taking away funding. In fact, from where you're getting as well. We say that we're increasing the SSA percentage for school districts, but not keeping pace with inflation.
Right.
So they're having to make really hard decitions about like kind of what I'm getting red face.
But you're right. It's frustrating.
And so going back to the point before I spot I think it is important to bring that to the news. I think it is actually really good for us to be honest with ourselves about where we are coming. We as presenters of the news, where we are coming at this, right? We are a values-driven media at Iowa Starting Line. We are fact-based, right? Like I don't write things that I know are untrue. I don't write things. I don't fabricate. I don't.
Do you use or take advantage of alternative facts ever?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because the reason I take it seriously is I come from an all-weekly background, right? I believe that I grew up in a discipline that says that if people are going to only believe half of what you say, so you have to fact check it to twice the standard, right? And I get things wrong sometimes, right? I'm not perfect. I sometimes get things wrong, but when I do, I go out of my way to issue a correction. I go out of my way to figure out what I got wrong, and I try to repair my process so that I don't make that mistake again. Right? That's the thing that we should be looking for. Right? Let lawyers argue about what is the line between news and entertainment.
Right.
If me making a joke about the news gets you a little more interested in what I'm talking about, that gets you a little more interested in your town and your state. Well, God damn it, that's a net win in my book.
Yeah,
I feel pretty strongly that we as news presenters need to like really think about like what is the tissue that connects the work we're doing in the communities that we serve, right? And I think thinking a little more seriously about like kind of the innovations happening in new media is part of that. And I could say I would argue that Starting Line is part of that.
Yeah, no,
I hope it's part of that.
And how long has Starting Line been up and running? Because I feel like I remember
That's a good question.
I remember, was it Ty Rushing? He was a part of it, right?
One of Iowa's finest journalists.
Yeah.
Ty was joined Starting Line. It's funny. I was working at Iowa Public Radio as a producer when he came on to Starting Line. So that would have been like 2021.
Okay.
I think because he left the Northwest Iowa Review to come over to Starting Line.
He used to work in.
He was in Newton.
Yeah, he worked in Newton for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I feel like did he go to Kansas City or did he come from Kansas City?
He's from Kansas.
From
Okay.
Kansas City.
Yeah, but now he lives in Iowa City. I'm just saying. We're building up the people in Iowa City.
It's the political hub of the state.
That's right.
What time do we got? Just so I know we're not
I
going.
think we're 45-ish.
45ish. Okay, good. Do you want to take a question here?
Tee off or
Yeah.
rock and roll or
Either way.
well, I had just looked up because usually we talk about the beer that we're drinking a little bit.
Oh yeah.
You introduced him. I believe you'd use the term friendly neighborhood reporter.
Yep.
And I assume you
A
did that
friendly
intentionally.
neighborhood beer.
Because we are currently drinking Big Grove neighborhood beer.
They did a really good job. Do y'all know anything about this beer?
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
Do you want about the beer itself or the program involved with it?
Program involved with it. I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh yeah. So
You know, pull it up so you can get the.
Are they paying? Is this? Do they support this publication?
We're working on it.
Not yet.
I'm just saying.
We want in, but
Don't get no foot picks for free. I said. Okay, that's
I like to flaunt my shit a little.
I'm generous. I'll show them.
they're local. We support local.
I'm currently not even wearing shoes or socks. I just can't see it. But no, so it's an easy drinking premium light lager that both celebrates and benefits the neighborhoods we're a part of across the Midwest. Every case sold of neighborhood beer provides $1 back to our Big Grove for Good program, which I read it like it was me, but so it reinvests back into, so you can get, I believe there's like a grant program then.
Micro grants, I believe.
Yeah, so you can apply for the grant. It has to be some kind of a neighborhood improvement project of some sort. And then, they yay or nay, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Love it.
And then you get some funding for whatever it is you're trying to do. We're thinking about applying.
Do it.
I don't know if this counts as a neighborhood improvement.
And you could make the argument.
I feel we could.
Neighborhoods on the airway.
Right, exactly. It's a neighborhood.
Yeah, the way
but we've
that's
been
very. I'm gonna be old again. WKRP in Cincinnati. That felt like very. No.
No, I'm sorry.
This is like a 70s sitcom about a radio station, and I wasn't born till 78, so it's not like I was sitting around watching it. But
when I was at Iowa Public Radio, the amount when normally folks don't come from like print media into radio, right? You start in radio, you start in like a public radio space, and you this is like your first. You get in there as your first job, or like you've been in commercial radio and you get into it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with a lot of like literacy about the properties in public radio, and there was like part of me that was like, WKUT, WHYY, WK, the alphabet that comes with some of these that like I just never quite understood. I never quite had it. So anytime someone like starts drilling me with
call letters,
I'm like maybe.
Yeah,
I worked at a local radio station in Newton. And every hour on the hour, you're listening to country's best KCOB in Newton, Iowa. Current time is blah blah blah. Temperature is this. Yeah,
I miss
now back to Cardinal baseball.
This is one of my favorite IPR hosts. It's no longer in the market. Was Catherine Wheeler. She did the All Things Considered gig, and she would do the moon cycle. You knew the moon cycle. She would like it was just, like you'd be in the middle of your drive home, and like she would be, this is Catherine Wheeler. We got a waxing gibbous that's just creeped over. It was like
That's a thing.
it was. Yeah.
Waxing gibbous.
Waxing gibbous.
Write that down.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Beautiful. I miss that. I miss that in my commute.
You like, so that was a good, that feels very public radio-esque voice. You've got a pretty good voice. You're still a little honey in that voice.
Not when
Pretty sweet.
Not when I start getting angry. That's the problem. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. I get a little squeaky. It gets, you know that I'm furious. There's like two tells. Voice gets a lot higher, and I got a vein that pops out of my forehead. My wife will like say hey, the vein's out. You want to like
Starting to
you want to cool it a little bit.
early January, probably you might start getting that from some sleepless nights. But
Whoa! I mean, covering the session. I mean, there's some days you're watching these things. You'll like, I'm sure like there's like if you keep the feed on, it's like pops out of my forehead watching some of these debates.
fatherhood will do it to you.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like I said, early January, it might already.
Are you guys
Not
waiting
getting
to
some
find
work.
out the gender? Or
No, we got a baby girl.
okay.
We got a baby girl.
So mostly of that, eventually in the future, that will be directed at other people's children.
I
not
can't.
your own.
I can't wait.
All the boys.
I'm like, I am the most excited. They're like, I mean, there's so many things to be terrified about, right?
Yeah.
They're like, will they be smart? Will they be happy? Will they stay? Will they ever find a job? Will they? There's a million things to worry about. Will the climate collapse around them? Will there be fascists running our government when they're adult? Like there are like so many things to worry about, right? But like I'm finding a ton of meaning since the pregnancy test wasn't even a positive, and I was like already like screaming to every stranger I knew, which I learned after the fact. You're not allowed to do.
Yeah, you're not.
You're supposed to shut the fuck up.
There's a grace period
yourself. But I'm gonna tell you the optimism that this filled me with, right? The excitement that I felt when finding out, even before I knew it was a girl, before but when it was still shaking, like you never know, will this be the one that takes? It just made me really excited to live in this place, right, and to be working with people that want great things for this place. I find a lot of meaning in the community that I live in, the people that I share my life with, and the reality that these folks see in this place what I see in it, right, which is potential, right? Would they see in this place that things aren't perfect, there's issues, there's huge issues, but there's a lot of work to do, and I'm someone who likes to work. I'm someone who's really excited by the proposition of Iowa. And so, I'm carrying, but connect this to the beginning, I'm carrying Mississippi with me everywhere I go. But I find a lot of meaning in doing work in the space. So,
Well, speaking of Mississippi, I didn't know this. I learned to spell Mississippi at an early age a certain way. He asked me, should we ask him how he spells Mississippi? And I'm thinking, like, why would we do that?
Can we do it at the same time?
Yeah,
So
right.
it's
3, 2, 1. MISSISSIPP.
Letter I, come back.
What the hell is going on here?
Dude, that takes so much longer.
It was like a song that we had to learn when I was like in elementary school.
Really?
M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I.
That's awesome.
That is, that's...
Does that have anything to do with?
That's what systems are doing so well.
They're not teaching letters. They're teaching. Well, that looks like a humpback.
I've never heard of a crooked letter. What is that? Well, it's a crooked letter.
Wow. So he does M-I.
Double S-I, double P-I.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
That's how I learned.
Right.
That's how I learned. I've never heard of
You're
that.
playing football and you're trying to count down before you can rush the
Yeah.
back.
Yep.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta count Mississippi.
God, yeah. That's 3 different ways, I guess. I only thought there was one way. 2, 3 now. So
This is how we figure this out. This is a journalism. That's what it is.
well, since you're from Mississippi, I feel like that's the way it is. I mean, that's
There are a lot. If you learn anything from living in Mississippi, it's that Mississippi looks like a lot of different things from a lot of different people.
fair enough.
I looked up a bunch of stereotypes.
Great, good.
No,
Where's the camera? Sorry. This will be fun. That's
Spokesperson for Mississippi here.
you can true false or
Yeah.
what do you got?
Everyone lives in poverty.
And so Mississippi,
fact that you have to like.
So I had a great. So I love that I'm speaking to two teachers because like I am who I am because of some teachers that drug me up by my ear and made me a better man. I had one Miss Shivers. She was like a government teacher.
Ooh.
Who I think I was like on a tear. I was like I like my bits. I like to rant. I like to monologue. I was even more insufferable, believe it or not, when I was in high school. And Miss Shivers was she like I had said something just really like uncharismatic and really like thoughtless, and she said, like Zach, there like 20 minutes from here, there's someone that doesn't have a pot to shit in, right? And like and it's true, right? Like there is serious the way that this country is divested in parts of the Delta, the way this country has mistreated the Jackson Metro, the way this I don't know if y'all remember the headlines about the water crisis. You give me a stereotype, I'll give you a story.
Yeah,
like the way there are myriad problems in Jackson, right? And there's some people that do incredible work there, that do incredible organizing. I'm a student of that metro, of the people doing work in that metro. And they're a real problem. I mean, poverty absolutely touches so many of the lives in that state, right? And it is a huge part of the story of that state, right? The videos, you see the like kind of Bill Miner black and white photos of the Delta, right? You see, I mean, there, in some ways, like there's still some of the same stories today that there were back in the 70s, right? Of just like government divestment, of people deciding that there's a certain amount of suffering that we're willing to deal with, that we're willing to stomach. But I'm going to tell you, there are poor people in Mississippi. There are poor people in Iowa, right? And I think the more Iowans can think about how we are alike. I'm not. Maybe my thesis is make America Mississippi again.
Yeah.
But like I think any finger you point at Mississippi, I deeply believe that it's the same is true here. The same is true in my backyard. The same is true in me.
Well, to be fair, Ryan, I could have answered that question for you. Everyone lives in poverty. Brett Favre lives in Mississippi, and he does not live in poverty. And he has nothing to do with the welfare system.
Shout out Mississippi Today, Pulitzer Prize winning Anna Wolf for her great work on. They recently won their defamation lawsuit.
Oh, they did win that lawsuit.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, so like, way to go.
And I'm a Packers fan.
Shout out.
Yeah, so
yeah. I became less of a Packers fan in this process, but I loved the God. That was a great story. It was called The Back Channel. If you haven't gotten a chance to read it,
wasn't that because they found out he was like kind of like doing sketchy things with money from the welfare system? And
I'm not gonna like do the piece disservice by
right,
summarize it, but it's like it is a systematic look at the way that using text messages obtained by Mississippi Today, using original reporting, the way that the welfare money was taken to fund these like kind of economic development projects. It's a remarkable.
I think one of them was at like the school his daughter played volleyball at or something.
At the stadium.
Right. Anyways,
well, I had a follow-up question, but I think he already answered it when the teacher said, made the comment about shitting in pots. That just doesn't make any sense to me. The follow-up question was low education levels as a stereotype. But if you're shitting, like you piss in a pot, you don't shit in the pot.
Well, bowl.
Because you got to get in there and clean all the shit out.
Yeah, come on.
You just pee, stop shitting in the pot. Yeah.
Stop shitting in your pot,
So the fact
guys.
that government teacher said they don't have a pot to shit in is really bothering. Because in my neighborhood, people didn't have a pot to piss in.
Okay. I guess I'd never thought about that, but I think that's how I've heard it.
I can't stop thinking
I think
about
that's a really good point. Here's a stereotype that is true. Our food's better.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%.
All the food? All of it.
I came to Iowa just to like take y'all just to fight y'all about your food.
Okay. Well, Casey's Pizza.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna say
good gas station.
Y'all's
pizza.
gas station food is next level.
Okay.
Like y'all do in fact have really good gas station food, but the idea that y'all are bragging about your gas station food, like that's the one you go to.
So where do you go to eat here in Iowa? Like if you want to go to a really good restaurant where you know you're going to get a 10 out of 10
Give
meal.
us an Iowa City and a Des Moines.
Ooh, okay, that's a good question. I mean, I gotta flex just because it's my home away from home. George's Buffet, the cheeseburger.
I saw that video today.
I'm gonna tell you, man.
Find a spring is sprung.
You know, I am at my like the zenith of happiness when when their patio is open.
Mhm.
I got a Burr Oak 63 in one hand and a cheeseburger in the other. That's actually what happiness
that-
looks like.
Iowa City.
It's Iowa City.
Okay,
on
that 'cause I didn't recognize the
Market
name.
Street. You can find me there every Thursday.
Okay, well,
I love that place. But really good food. Really good food. There's there's a pupusa place I go to, but I just call it the pupusa place.
the hell's papusa?
A pupusa? Oh, it's like a masa. So y'all's like y'all's Mexican food, y'all's Colombian food, y'all's Ecuadorian food is off the chain.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Iowa. Like when people talk about like, oh, what do you eat in Iowa? What is it? Well, like the food coming from south of the border is like could not be better. It'll come to me. But pupusa is essentially it's like masa that has normally like a cheese and bean or cheese and pork, and it's fire.
That sounds good.
Fire. Go. I'm sure there's a pupusa place here in Des Moines.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Other places that I like to eat. I'm a big Wigan pin. It's a chain of pizza place. I love a slice of pizza. So gotta put some pizza in there.
There's one of those in Ankeny.
Oh,
Is there one now?
Yeah, there's one in Ankeny too.
I mean, Nodo, one of the finest sandwich. Okay, all right. Get out your pen and
Yeah, you
paper.
saw my eyes go.
Get out your pen and paper. They got a pork sandwich that is off the chain. It is just a fire sandwich. Get that and order their French fries. Best French fries in town.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, so good.
That's Iowa City.
Iowa City.
What do you do in Des Moines? Where's your go-to in Des Moines?
Des Moines. I think I got food poisoning last night.
Oh.
I was eating. I had this.
Don't name that.
I won't name that one. But I had some excellent egg rolls there. It was called. I'm gonna say it anyway. Sam's Fine Eats. It's like but they had really good egg rolls. So
Roll the dice.
roll the dice.
Risk reward, yeah.
Could be good. Maybe that was just on my end.
You like gambling, Stu?
So that was good. I've been really in love with. I'm a big beer drinker, and Lua
Yeah.
Gills Pills. That is the finest beer I've ever
Gills
had.
Pills. Yep.
Gills
I've had that
Pills.
one.
It takes them like a goddamn hour to pour it because they got this like special tap that they can never. I never quite understand what it is.
Right.
It's taking so long.
Their burgers are awesome. They're smush burgers.
Burgers are
They're
excellent,
called.
really good. I had like a squash curry there.
Oh,
I was
really?
on. I think it's out of season now, but it was like when the session started. I was on the menu. They're doing great work over there.
They have a restaurant that is
Oh,
branched out from
Either or.
yeah, either or is theirs.
Oh, I guess I haven't. tried
Yeah,
that place.
it's
I've seen just
similar
there,
menus.
but
I need to. It should be. Where should I be eating? What's the
My favorite place. I can't remember which day of the week it is. Either Monday or Tuesday, I think. Angry Goldfish.
Angry Goldfish is fire. I've eaten there.
They have the.
poutine, I've heard.
Well, I
Their
just.
lasagnas off the chain.
I like to go there for they have like a burger and a pint deal for $10, and
That's
their
not
burgers are great. You get fries, a burger, and a pint of beer for $10. You can't beat that, and I don't know where you beat that. And the burgers are awesome. So like, bang for your buck. It's
The
awesome.
brisket was mediocre.
Mhm.
I had the brisket. It was, see, this is the thing. I'm happy to like talk shit about. Right. I should probably be more polite.
That's all right.
But the brisket was mediocre. But their burgers are really good. What else did I have there? I had the lasagna. The lasagna is amazing. They do a really good job there.
Yeah, I love Angry Goldfish. It's just I love the atmosphere there. It's very neat.
Bartender's handshake. Y'all been to this place?
Uh-uh.
So a thing.
I'm such a fat kid. Like you're.
Come on, no, write it down.
Better go.
So Iowa City doesn't have like they're like there's some good cocktail restaurants. Wild Culture Kombucha has really put some work into their cocktail available. I mean, their penicillin is next level.
I'm allergic to penicillin.
Right. Well, this is medicine. I'll tell you, smoky, scotchy medicine. So is the Webster. I can't afford to eat there, but their cocktails are pretty reasonably priced. You can get a pretty mean cocktail there. The bartender Haven is do not skip Haven service. Dude is on it.
Okay.
But so outside of those places, it used to be there wasn't a really good cocktail place in Iowa City, and I always still kind of default to thinking that there's not a good cocktail to be had in Iowa City. Des Moines, y'all got cocktails out the waz.
Oh yeah.
So bartender's handshake. What did I had like a carrot flavor? It was like I had like carrot juice in it. I don't even like carrots all that much, but they had like I think it was like Karate Kid or something like that. I'm gonna tell you, the pep that put in my step, man. I could have taken over the world after one of those. That was a really excellent cocktail.
I don't know why it made me think. Oh, go ahead. I don't.
No, you got.
I'm going on a weird sidetrack.
No,
I just
going,
no.
If y'all want to talk food for the rest of the hour,
there's one. Or you go.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that in a second.
No,
I
was gonna say he said he felt like he could take on the world.
right. Just do it. Yeah, go for it. Yep.
So have you seen this question that's been floating around? 100 guys versus the silverback gorilla.
Uh-huh.
After that drink with the carrot juice. 100 guys, not just you by yourself. You with
100 guys and the gorilla. Throw them at me, man. I could.
Wait, the 100 and the whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Both. All 101.
Wait.
I could have taken them on.
You want 100 plus one, or is it you versus 99?
It's me versus gorilla versus 100 men.
Okay.
This is a battle royale.
Carrot juice. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reckless when I drink. That's what we're learning.
Have another.
I gotta go though, guys.
I went to Spokane, Washington one time, and we stopped by this bar. It's called the Volstead Act.
Okay.
And
that name.
Yeah,
Where'd that come from?
it was. I think that's what either got rid of alcohol, like prohibition, or it was the repealed. One of those is like something along those lines. And they had like it was a beautiful place, and I'm a history guy, so I thought it was awesome. Yeah. But we got in there, and it was early, and the bartender was squeezing ginger root juice, and he had a ginger root, and he was squeezing it, and he put it in a shot glass. You want to try this? And I did, and holy shit! Oh god, it just like knocked you back. It didn't make you like you weren't like drunk or anything, obviously, but like you were ready to go. Like it cleared you out, and apparently it's really good for you.
Ginger's a powerful spice. I honestly I didn't cook. I like to cook, and I hadn't. It's like for a lot of cultures, it's like in the way that I use a lot of like carrot, onion, and celery. Like I understand that it's like a big that's a big like base like aromatic for a lot of cultures.
Yeah.
Cuisines.
I usually skip that part of the recipe if it calls for it. I'm just like, I'll fuck with onions. I'll leave celery. I'm like, I'm not going to buy that and chop that up.
So celery, easy to process. Onion, really easy to process. My one issue with ginger, it's a little fussy to process.
Okay.
Getting the skin off of it and finding the right knob in the hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin because I've never dealt with it before.
But it is tasty. It is tasty and like, and powerful squeezed into a juice, I guess.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was. I want to kind of replicate that again. I've heard of some people, they do that once a day. They'll take a shot of ginger root juice for like the health benefits.
That's crazy. What time is it?
Yeah, what time?
Question.
You have your computer?
Yeah, hold on.
It's 12:15. I might have to check my calendar.
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. We have one last thing, and we will.
I just want to make sure.
Well, unless you had some.
I'm drinking beer on the company time, so I gotta make sure I'm. We're great.
We'll edit that out.
We're gold.
All the night. By that being said, Comer, you want to ask? We'll each get one more question.
Oh,
or
I'm just worried about being. Yeah, you go.
You do one question, and then we do our rapid fire.
Oh, do a rapid fire.
Yeah, we have a rapid fire.
I didn't have.
Oh, so you want to just do rapid fire now?
I'm good with that.
Let's do rapid fire.
We'll see where it goes. Do you want to grab a beer?
Yeah, I do.
Let's.
Oh no.
There should be one more in there, I thought. Great. Oh, just great.
I know this.
This is bad podcasting. All right.
You gotta get Big Grove to carry this podcast.
They should. And we've reached out to them, and they've mentioned about supplying us with some stuff. Whoa.
Jeez, I cut my fingernails. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Grooming.
All right.
They had they got a beer. It's like a Japanese rice lager called Moon Rabbit.
I never heard of that.
Oh, it's
man.
fine. That is an excellent beer.
I think Wall to Wall Wine had that, so that's shame on them. They usually have everything.
Yeah, that's check it out. If you see it, grab a six pack.
Yeah,
totally worth your time.
So we have what's called. I wrote down rapid fire, and then I started to write down friendship quiz, and I got distracted with a 5-year-old at home. So this is our friendship quiz. We're just going to ask you rapid either or questions, or just random questions, and you get to give like a quick answer.
This will determine whether or not we're friends.
Yeah, whether we'd be compatible for friendship.
That's good. I like that.
You don't get a say in this. Like we
let the numbers decide.
We don't even have a say in this. It's a numbers game.
Really, love to be your friend, but the numbers don't lie, man. You fail.
The fate thing is what we like to. I don't know.
It's
that was a loud one.
We're in a construction.
So get down. It's like a
cat or dog.
Cat.
Okay.
Favorite current music obsession?
Current music obsession, Ginger Root. I found him on TikTok.
Great callback.
Really, really excellent musician. Has like some of the funniest like kind of meta videos online. Check out his TikTok account. You'll fall in love. Better Than Monday.
Okay.
Check out that. Don't sleep on that track.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
I'm
basic.
gonna follow up on Ginger Root. What genre?
I would call it, there was like City Pop had like a moment on the internet, right? Kind of a revisit to, I associate it with the end of like anime videos that I watched on Toonami, right? But there's like the internet, Gen Z found City Pop and was like, this is the best music ever. And you had a bunch of folks making music in the space. I would consider like City Pop, it's kind of like a nostalgic for some City Pop, but it's got like a really glittery kind of indie sensibility.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right. T Swift or Kanye?
T Swift. Now, I was a college dropout. I'm like, man, I was in that generation where like college dropout was like a hell of a drug. I still think I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven. When I woke up, I spent that on a necklace. Is like one of the funniest fucking things anyone has ever said into a microphone. But like T Swift, I mean, she's like 18 different bands. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like someone. I don't mean to like. This is a take. Like she is doing the Bob Dylan thing, right? Which like constantly reinventing herself, constantly trying to figure out like what is the new sound. Evermore was a banger of an album. And I dig that she's like built like a extended universe of other acts. Like her work with Haim has been really excellent. The kind of love she shows for Chapel Run.
Oh yeah.
Misery, Heartthrob. I don't know. Like she's built in a way that like Kanye has made his circle smaller, has made the world smaller. T Swift like keeps reinventing herself and the game. So like T Swift every time.
I'm a big T Swift guy. I went to the Red Tour in Des Moines, and then the Eras Tour in Phoenix for the second show.
I had friends that saw the Eras Tour. I really wanted to go. I'm also like, I don't think I like big like stadium shows. And I think I've gotten like. We talk. This is rapid fire. I should just.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sorry about that. But like talking about, I mean, I think if there's a way that like COVID did impact me in a big way, it's like I just don't like doing like the big. I don't like going to like protests. I don't like going to like big rallies. I don't like. I like being in a crowded bar room. Right? Like George's on a Thursday afternoon is about right for me. But it's about as crowded as I like to be.
I learned that a couple weeks ago, and again, this is rapid fire. We just during the segment we keep saying that even though it's not rapid fire. But I went out for St. Patty's Day with some friends, and I'm kind of in that point in my life. I'm 33 years old. Getting married in September.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And
it's gonna be a big month.
It is. It is. She's got 2 kids.
Congrats.
And so I'm going to that part of my life, the fatherhood kind of type, where I don't go out and do those partying things anymore. But I went out for St. Patty's Day with some friends, and I lasted 3 hours, went home and threw up. So I did not make it. And I realized I just wasn't really having that much fun. This isn't for me. I'd rather maybe go to like a Carl's and watch a game and have a couple beers with a couple friends or something, or sit at home and have beers. That's more my vibe.
I think we as a culture we need to do big things together. It's why it's part of the thing that brings me to church on a Sunday. It's part of the reason that I enjoy my happy hour. It's part of the reason that I like getting together with folks. I like having big dinners with folks. But yeah, I do feel that countervailing force. I do feel myself a bit shaped by kind of a year spent by myself.
Favorite swear word?
I curse a lot.
That's okay.
Fuck is a big one.
Yeah.
Goddamn is a powerful one. Goddamn.
Okay.
Your favorite insult?
Emphasis on
favorite God. I mean,
damn.
Goddamn. Yeah. How do you say it? God.
I thought you were saying. Are you saying with a T or a D?
I suppose I'm saying it with a T. I mean, I'd spell it with a D.
Okay.
Right.
Damn.
I feel like I'd put the emphasis on the God.
Favorite insult.
Yeah. Isn't it like a name to call somebody else?
Pudding pie looking ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm angry and in traffic, like that's the thing that comes out of my soul. It feels good. Say it. Pudding pie looking ass motherfucker.
Pudding pie looking ass motherfucker.
Pudding pie looking ass motherfucker.
It's
shit.
powerful.
Sorry, they're probably upset at us. Sorry, that's okay. They'll get over it. I think. My favorite
This is
insult.
why you didn't get elected.
Right. It might have got me elected.
Pudding pie ass motherfucker.
Not in Pella. My favorite insult from a TV show, Eastbound and Down. Kenny Powers. I don't know if you've seen it. He yells at his sister-in-law would be. And he says, "Don't stare at me with those dead eyes, you church bitch." That is my That is a great line, right off the cuff. I love that line.
That's a church bitch. That's tough.
Iowa or Mississippi?
I am culturally from Mississippi. I love Iowa. If people ask me like, Zach, you always talk about Mississippi. Would you move back? I don't know, man. I'm doing great work here. I ain't trying to leave right now.
Sure.
Yeah, I ain't trying to leave.
Okay.
The Office or Parks and Rec?
Parks and Recreation. Leslie Knope and her optimism for what government
Why'd you go
can
full?
do.
Why'd you go full recreation on me and not just go Parks and Rec?
Parks and Recreation. What is this? What is this? A classroom? Fucking teachers.
Lazy ass
Parks and Rec. There is. If we could have optimism, if we had that kind of optimism about what government's capable of doing, what democracy is capable of doing, what civics are capable of doing, so many of our problems would be fundamentally different.
I love Parks and Rec.
Yep.
Recreation.
It's kind of a trick question because either way you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them both, but I think I fell in love with Parks and Recreation first, then The Office.
I mean, I love that Office has kept afloat Netflix, and there's like a lot of Netflix shows that I dig.
Number one movie recommendation.
Ooh, that's a good question. I saw a movie that I'm in love with. Iowa City Independent Movie Theater, Film Scene, shout out. Film Scene gets like a lot of like crazy foreign flicks. This is one that I think folks slept on. It's called The Taste of Things. It's a French movie. I'm going to lose the audience with this one.
That's right.
Bear with me. It's about food. That's the reason I love it. So it's about this like, we don't have enough November, December romances, right? Fall, winter romances.
Okay.
So it's this like older couple. He owns his house, and he's a gourmand, loves food. She's just a really excellent chef, right? That's just her deal. And they're not married. They're not even really dating. But there is just an insane amount of chemistry between these two.
Okay.
And it is about life and loving food and death. And, oh, man, I'm going to cry.
Where would we watch it?
I don't know. I don't know where you can stream it, but when I watched it, so when I was working for IPR, I would fuck off early from work and catch Film Scene has like a 3 p.m. movie, and so it's me and the retirees from Oak Knoll that come in for the early flick. And I'm like in the middle of this dark theater with the olds, and I'm bawling. Watch this movie.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
Bawling. The Taste of Things. Go see this movie.
The Taste of Things. Write that down.
Is an excellent. If you like food, if you like life.
Yeah.
Do you like life?
Absolutely.
Hear me out.
Like living?
Sharks, do you like life?
What the hell's wrong with you? You don't even like living?
It's noon on a Wednesday, and I'm drinking my third beer, so I love life right now.
That's right.
Have you seen Whiplash?
I liked Whiplash.
That was intense.
I'm always bummed by Whiplash. So this is someone who's like, I grew up in wanting to do art, right?
Yeah.
Wanting to writing was important, and there's suffering for art isn't real.
Right.
That's something manufactured by the West. We actually if you got to hurt yourself to make your art, maybe you should do something else.
You're free.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you seen Whiplash, Comer? I rewatched it that night.
It's a very cool movie.
Yeah.
The performances are great. The music's it's unreal. I mean, there's a lot to love about the movie, but the spirit of the movie, the pieces of the movie bums me out in a way that I cannot describe.
There's no way an actual how we call him, director or whatever, gets away with doing what he was doing to that kid.
Oh, 100%. Well, and I mean, unfortunately, probably did.
Really?
There's some broken. The reality is that's why we got broken ass people walking around in power. It's because they got hurt when they were our age. They got hurt when they were coming up, and they're trying to hurt the next generation the way that they were hurt. Yeah, it's a sad. Yeah, that's the baggage I bring to that movie.
Comer?
Sorry, I'm trying to calculate our results of the French.
Oh, we're not done yet. We have.
I have one more question.
You got to do to tell it. So
I'm a kind of a
A
numbers
squared plus B
as a
squared.
social studies teacher.
Wait, that's
Good with numbers.
it's working out a polynomial.
Pythagorean. Anyways,
I
go
gotta
ahead.
take my. Good thing I already had my shoes and socks off, so I can use my toes
Toast.
to calculate. Sorry.
You have one more?
Oh,
Either or not?
I had a question about streaming services, because basically we're trying to develop. We want to make sure we have access to all of them.
Yeah.
But we don't want to pay for all of them. So in this friend group, we're going to share.
Passwords.
What do I bring to the table?
Yeah, what do you
To the
bring?
table? Ooh, because I'm the recipient of a bunch of these. I don't pay for.
We can share their
Dude, your
passwords.
friends are our friends.
I got Spotify right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Spotify. I'm a religious user of Spotify.
Yeah,
no
good.
one uses Spotify.
I use it.
learned. Okay.
I use it all the time. Yeah.
When I was working at IPR, I see the analytics for the podcasts, and Apple Music by far way more popular than Spotify.
Really? That's good.
Which I think Spotify's interface is. Anyway,
I love it.
so I bring Spotify to the table. I got YouTube TV. It's good for it's good. Sports package is really good.
I don't have that.
I have YouTube TV.
We've got Hulu right now because Love Island. Y'all familiar? Y'all watch this?
I don't.
Y'all watch this? Love Island. This when in 2020 we had the Iowa caucuses, the meltdown of the Iowa caucuses. Iowa IGP.
Oh God.
Being in the building, it happened. It's kind of crazy. Caucuses meltdown. COVID-19 pandemic. Iowa City had tons of Black Lives Matter protests following the George Floyd murder. And then another election. I mean, a succession of really fucking terrible events in the world. And my brain, I felt like there was like a period where it felt like my brain was like suspended in like honey, right? Just the way, just the things felt slow. Things felt like I felt like I was unable to do anything. And a friend said, "Hey Zach, I know you don't watch a lot of reality TV, but I think it's exactly what would fix you." So she set me up with season 5, Love Island UK. And I'm going to tell you that the love, now they're broken up. I still follow them to this day, but now they're broken up. But the romance of Molly May and Tommy, it is the greatest love story ever told.
God, we're going to really nail a very niche audience with this part of the podcast.
I'm nothing but niche.
People need to know.
The people got to know. I'm a believer.
I got 2 yes or no questions.
Okay.
Noah Khan, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes. Season of the Six.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It was a great. That album. Was
It's
Yeah, 6 seasons.
amazing album. It's one of my favorite
Season
albums.
forever.
Yeah, he drugged that out a lot and he added to it, which was great. It's my favorite album.
It blew up.
Yeah.
You think I wouldn't be playing Sweet Caroline if I wrote Sweet Caroline?
Right, exactly.
You got it wrong.
Wicked, the movie, yes or no?
Oh my God.
This is a.
I can't yes or no because I love Depressed Story. I didn't care for the movie.
Oh my God, I love these.
musicals. I saw as a musical kid. I was like a theater kid growing up. I liked a lot. I could probably sing you every song in Wicked. I find myself I've fallen out of love with the American musical.
Okay.
I have a dear friend who's like a buff. He's a teacher. He's a teacher in Iowa City schools, and he one of the smartest motherfuckers I know, and has like big opinions about like the world of musicals. And this is like one of the ways that we're out on one another is like I can't quite. I've lost my love for the art of the musical. So. Hit me at the wrong time. If it hit me like 10 years ago, I would have loved it.
No, I support your answer. He sends me shit about Wicked all the time, and I won't.
I'm trying to like trick him into watching.
You're trying to. This is
like he sent me a TikTok, and before I clicked on it, I just happened to look down and see in a text I saw like the description a little bit, and I was like, no, I'm not even clicking on this shit.
I mean, the press tour was iconic. The press tour, her holding the finger was hilarious. I mean, that was immaculate. That was. I wish I came across.
I never got to see. So,
what are you holding? Is that what it was? What are you holding space for? The way that people are holding space for, like, in the way that Ariana Grande like looked at her, was like.
I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Are you uncomfortable?
No. I'm good. I just gotta. No. I don't think so. I just gotta stop talking about it. No, I gotta stop talking about it. I was supposed.
You're gonna get emotional.
I had a ticket to the Broadway show Wicked in New York City.
Yeah.
We took me and a couple of the teachers took kids to New York City, like 80 or 90 kids.
That's sick.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
one kid did get sick.
Yeah.
And the whole day puked on like a ferry, puked on the subway, puked on like
you can't,
walking.
But the kid hung out the whole time.
Yeah, he was a trooper. We finally got him back to the hotel because we were like, you might be ready. He might be feeling better. And he puked right outside Wicked. And so I had to take him back to the hotel and I missed it. So I don't know how it ends. I've only seen the movie.
Oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Well,
the ending's really good. The ending's like, because it's they reprise the. Kind of...
Whoa! Spoiler! No spoiler.
Sorry.
I've never seen the. I don't know.
Have you? But you saw the movie. Oh, because the movie is
only half. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So okay. I don't know.
You know enough for him, and you know.
I know enough to be dangerous.
You don't know enough. That
we're
still too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Played the middle very well here.
I'm scared to know how it ends. I love the ending of the first movie, whatever you want to call it. But it just I listen to it the soundtrack all the time on my way to work.
Heartbreaker.
Oh God.
He'll text Comer. You want to get fired up?
Listen to Defying Gravity. Here we go. Wizard and I. Yeah. Any other ones, or do you want to give the results of the?
Yeah. What's the verdict?
Hold on.
Type it into the computer.
Is there an anti-friend category?
What is it?
or something?
Punch the numbers.
Yeah, punch the numbers.
Crunch.
Yeah, crunch the numbers.
Crunch the numbers.
Crunch them.
Says we're good to go.
Yeah, we're good.
So
I think you qualify. I think we're good.
Oh my
see it,
God.
Carl's. See it, Carl's
We
leg.
entered enemies. We exit this, friends.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I think so. Yeah.
That's, I love. That's a good place.
We need more
Batting.
big J journalists in our circle, people that are in the know, and no, it's just been a fun interview.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
honor.
come drink beer. And...
We'll my fiance's a U of I grad, so at some point we're gonna go to some Iowa games. We'll tailgate and we'll bring you down to investigate the tailgate. And
I'm telling you, don't we got to I want to know, does the women's riflery team of UNI have the best tailgate? This is my thesis. This is what I got to know.
I think it's the rowing team, the women's rowing team at the University of Iowa. They're at it pretty early.
I've done the trifecta. I've been at Iowa's homecoming, UNI's homecoming, and Iowa State's homecoming tailgates. I've been to all three.
I haven't been to a UNI homecoming.
Like half my school went to college there. I think that was the only reason why.
Totally.
I was enrolled at UNI, but I didn't really attend.
Yeah. And did you get kicked out?
Yeah, I got kicked out
Yeah.
after one semester.
It happens in the best of families.
Deans do not get degrees.
No. That's not true.
Whoever said that is a liar. Get you put on academic suspension.
Double what is it? Double secret suspension.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
a year.
I knew somebody that had that. I know two people that got put on academic suspension at UNI and got kicked out. But they both eventually graduated. So
Dang.
One of them's a teacher.
yeah, one of them's a teacher. I don't know what the other one does. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll stick around and chat for a few minutes after, but thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
That was another episode of Cornhole Champions. The best way to follow us is our home on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the conversation. If you like this show, sign up for my newsletter, cornholechampions.substack.com, and get these episodes straight to your inbox when they drop on Wednesday mornings. We're trying to grow this place, so please rate the podcast where you listen and share it with a friend. Cornhole Champions is a weekly podcast powered by Iowa Starting Line. This podcast is produced by me with music from Avery Mossman. Cornhole Champions is a proud member of the Iowa Writers Collaborative. We'll see you with a new episode next Wednesday. Until then, I'm Zachary Oren Smith. Thanks for watching.